Hey everyone, this is Ron Watson with One Dinky. Finally, we're here. I can't believe we're in week 4 already. 30 days have already passed. And I just want to give a shout out to my subscribers that have been sending me messages independently of Substack and appreciating, the work that I'm doing here, which is really an experiment on that's something I felt very challenged with. And so, let's move forward. So week 4, that's rebuilding. It's really about who you're going to become after everything settles. Now, there's a moment at the end of something like this where you realize nothing externally has changed, but you're not the same person anymore. That's where this final week begins. Not with emotion, not with reaction, but with identity. Now, because of after 30 days of doing this work, stabilizing, detaching, reframing, you're left with one final question, and that's, who are you going to be going forward? Let's look at the full arc. Before I get into week 4, I want to just zoom out, because this wasn't just a mindset reset, it was a shift in how I operate. Now, let's be honest about how each week really went. Week 1, stabilize. This week gave me control back. I reduced the emotional spikes. I interrupted the replay loop. I separated facts from interpretation. But it wasn't perfect. The thoughts still came back, the emotions still surfaced, but they didn't control me the same way. And that is why I gave myself a 4 out of 5. It's not perfect, but like I've said before, it's foundational. I can't move forward unless I have a foundation to build on. Now, week 2, again, detach. This was the hardest week. Letting go of the need to be heard, right, or validated sounds simple. It's not. I caught myself still wanting to explain, still wanting acknowledgement, and still feeling that pull to control the outcome. Now, progress was there, but it wasn't clean. I have to admit, I gave myself a 3 out of 5 because detachment is a practice, an ongoing practice, not a switch. So, week 3 was reframe. This was the turning point. The situation stopped feeling like friction and started feeling like fuel. I changed the narrative. I redirected my energy. I replaced rumination with production. Nothing externally changed again, but internally, everything shifted. And that's why I gave myself a 5 out of 5. Now, week 4 is all about rebuilding, like I said. Now, I'm not going to tell you what my score was, but we're here. It's the final phase, rebuilding. Not just thinking differently, but becoming different. Now, what does that actually mean? Rebuilding isn't dramatic, it's subtle, it's not one big decision. It's a series of small, consistent choices that redefine or define who you are now. This week isn't about the situation anymore, it's about identity. So, day 22 is how I define that was, we need to define our values, our core values. This forced clarity, not vague ideas, real anchors. I had to ask myself, who do I stand on? What do I stand on regardless of, what's happening around me? For me, it came down to stability, competence, integrity, long-term thinking, and calm leadership. If you're in a leader position, you want to make sure you're calm because people want to respect you. Now, these aren't just words, these are standards. And once you define them, you stop reacting randomly. You start responding consistently. Now, day 23 is where I build my own new personal standard. This became my baseline. My emotional state is not dependent on others' validation. That's a high standard. And I didn't hit it perfectly every day. And I've told you this many times, but having it defined changed how I operated, because now every time I felt triggered, I had something to measure against. So day 4 was expanding my world. This was a major realization, because in one environment becomes tight, you don't shrink with it. You expand beyond it. I started thinking about where else my energy could go. Professional circles, intellectual growth, building something meaningful. So because if one room doesn't receive you, there's always a bunch of others. So day 25 got me thinking. Invest in what still matters. So this really truly grounded everything. I mean, instead of focusing on what felt fractured, I focused on what still was intact. So my relationship, with my wife, connection where it still existed, that mattered more than alignment with everyone else. So here we are in day 26. I mean, practice, outcome, independence. This is where peace actually comes from. Understanding the difference between what you control and what you don't. I can control my tone, my effort, my growth. This is why I always tell people, focus on what you can control, because there's always external factors that might impact something. So, like, for example, I can't control other people's responses. I can't control their acceptance. I can't control their timing. This distinction removes pressure. Now, emotional resilience drill. This is, I'm sorry. Wow. Day 27, emotional resistance. This was visualization, not fantasy preparation. I mean, imagine seeing them again. And instead of tension, I saw myself calm, neutral, steady, unbothered. Now, because how you rehearse internally is how you show up externally. This is why on day 28, let time work for you. This required patience. 6 months felt long, but in the context of relationships, it's not. I mean, I'm so sorry, but in the context of relationships, it really isn't. Even though this happened, not too long ago, they resolve through time, or they didn't, and either way, you're okay. Now, day 29, define who are in this story. This might be the most important day, because every situation gives you a role. You can be the one who was dismissed, the one who was wronged, the one that was overlooked, or the one who stayed grounded, the one who grew, the one who didn't break under pressure. And I chose the second one, to be honest with you. So day 30 is the final reset, right? I mean, this was a statement that tied everything together. I released the need to be heard in order to feel valuable. I released the need to be right in order to feel respected. My experience stands whether acknowledged or not. I chose stability over resentment. I chose dignity over reaction. That's just not a statement. That's really a personal standard I kind of gave myself. So what changed in me? After 30 days, here's what's real. The situation no longer dominates my thoughts. Emotional spikes are really minimal. I recover way faster than they happen. I don't feel the need to explain myself. My energy is redirected into productive areas. My identity feels more stable, more secure. I feel actually more empowered and positive. So that's a result, not a perfection, just control. So what can you do moving forward? This is where it matters, because this isn't just my situation. It's really about yours. So I would start off with build your own reset system. Don't rely on motivation. Use structure. I mean, motivation can be powerful. It can drive people. But you need structure to make that change. So you stabilize when emotions spike, detach when control feels threatened, reframe what you feel stuck, rebuild what you're ready to move forward with, and cycle through it as needed. So next step, I would say turn emotion into action. When something hits you, do something immediately, whatever it is. Train your mind. Emotion forces action, not emotion forces rumination. And that's like, vicious circle going on in your head. So you define internal standards. Now you write them down. There are prompts on the website, on my Substack Lynn Dinky site, that forces you to kind of do like a deep dive in your own thoughts and to really put those on paper and possibly provide action. So you read them daily if that's what it takes. Operate them from them and not from your mood. So next is expand when things contract. If something in your life tightens, don't shrink with it. Expand somewhere else. Get yourself out of that situation. So next is focus only on what you can control, right? That's what I said earlier. So what can I control right now? Stay there. That's where your power is. So my final thought is this. This process didn't fix the situation. It fixed my position within it. And that's way more important. So, because when your internal position is strong, you don't need resolution to feel stable, you don't need validation to feel valuable, and you don't need control to feel in control. You just need discipline and the willingness to build yourself even when nothing around you changes. So, you're not stuck, you're evolving. And that's the real outcome. I mean, I'm 55 years old, and I like to feel like I'm evolving because I'm taking action. So overall, I give myself a 4 out of 5. I mean, there were definitely points where I needed to improve on. And there are definitely areas that were strengths, things that I can control. But I can certainly tell you that this will impact your life in every way possible. So I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear, if you have any thoughts or ideas or something you would like me to speak on or try to experiment. If it's something that you've tried that I could certainly go on camera and reproduce results for me. But in this mindset reset, it's about you and empowering you and also creating a world of positive mental attitude. Anyways, have a great day. Thank you for joining me. This is Ron Watson with Lynn Dinky.